Hey now, friends, it's me, Lola. Jump on and jump in quickly as you're coming into the room. Let me know if you can hear me and see me. Okay, let me know that everything is good. I'd appreciate that because that helps me know that at least my connection is not an issue and that I don't need to start the broadcast over. So I hope that everyone is having the most wonderful day. I'm coming on to do something I used to do a really long time ago called Morning Muse. It's just basically some inspiration for the morning. And if you're watching this and it's not the morning where you are, then this is just going to be some inspiration for you. Okay, so if you're ready to do it, drop a comment and say, I'm ready to do it. And we're going to go ahead and get started. So I was reading and in my thoughts, which is kind of like a normal thing. And I was thinking about something that dropped on me yesterday. And when I say dropped on me, it was like something that dropped into my mind, something that dropped into my heart. Grace and peace, Crystal Hogan. Super appreciate you for always um, jumping on and being here. And I'm just super proud of you for just who you are and that you just do not give up and that you don't quit. And may your tenacity and courage pay off in Jesus' name. Okay, so Facebook user, what's up? Good morning. I can't see your name from where I am, but it's all good. Okay, so I'm seeing comments saying I'm ready. Awesome, 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 awesome. So when I say something dropped on me, like I was driving and something just dropped on me. And when it dropped on me, I thought about it in my head for a little bit and I was like, I need to make a note about that in my phone. But I was driving, I couldn't make a note about it. So I just went on about my business. Grace and peace, Shamel Latrice McClendon. I pray that you are doing super awesome, super well. So I was reading this morning, I was reading something. And what I was reading was about like confidence and how it was about confidence and it was about women in confidence. But then it turned from confidence and how sometimes we just don't accept what we are. We just don't accept how amazing we are. And the author wrote about like women and men being asked a question at a meeting, and there were women and men in the room. Grace and peace, Jasmine. There were women and men in the room, and if you don't identify as any of that, you can be in the room too. But the question was posed like, who's an expert on breastfeeding? And none of the women said they were an expert, but a man said that he was an expert, and he had only because he had watched his wife do it for 3 months. And it was just funny how none of the women, Grace and peace, Siobhan, I hope you're doing well. It was just funny how none of the women said that they were experts. And it's like, probably most of y'all have been like nursing, which I have a really funny story about nursing and doing it in front of somebody one day. And they were just so shocked. It was a girl and she was just so shocked. Like, how does it even fit in there? And you get the milk out. Cause I was like, not really nursing. I was like pumping to get some milk for later. But okay, so back to this mo. But anywho, like the man that said he had watched his wife breastfeed for 3 months, he said he was an expert, but it was just funny how none of the women acknowledged that they were experts. So as I was thinking about that, the thought that dropped on my heart and in my mind, grace and peace, Daniel James. Daniel James, I love you. That is my I don't know if I can tell him. Let me know if I can tell him who you are. But I'll finish that story with you later, because the girl, when she saw it, like the words, I'll never forget what she said to me. Like she was just so shocked and surprised. But back to this. So that story made me think about like confidence, and it moved me from confidence into the thought that I had yesterday, which the thought that I had yesterday was this. I ended up writing it down in the book as I was reading this morning. It says, some of you are looking for affirmation from others when the affirmation you need comes from within. Get to know yourself. What you discover will affirm you, then others will confirm what you've already affirmed. They'll confirm what you already know. And what I was thinking about yesterday is that there's a difference between affirmation and confirmation, and how some people look to others for affirmation so much when it's like the best affirmation you can get is the affirmation from within, the affirmation that you've given yourself. I've talked about this before when I talked about like I think like 2-3 years ago, I did like this series on self-love and awareness and affirmation, and how this helps us become more confident and helps us do more of what we're supposed to be doing. It's on the podcast. I'll drop the link after this is over. But something that helped me become more confident, something that helped to affirm me was me getting to know myself. It was me becoming aware of who I am and getting to know myself. When I did that, I did not need other people to tell me, hey, this is who you are. Hey, you're really great at that. I mean, that stuff helps, but I did not need it. I didn't need their approval. I didn't need their permission. I didn't need their affirmation, because the affirmation I got came from within. I almost said within. It came from within, and it came from me sitting with myself, having courage, having courage. I've been talking about that, right? You've heard that courage has come up in a few of my live streams. But it came from me sitting with myself and having courage to look at who I am and become aware of me. And as I did that, I learned what my strengths were. And as I learned what my strengths were, I realized that a lot of things that people could not affirm in me, and that people refused to affirm in me because they saw it as something negative, it was actually a strength. Where I've been told, hey, you're difficult. No, I'm not difficult. I ask questions and I'm disruptive. And when I read the book about innovators, I actually learned that innovators usually ask a lot of questions. They usually disrupt what's been established. I learned that that's not a weakness, where, stop, cat. Sorry, the cat is hitting my tripod. I learned that, my strengths were not what other people may have seen them as. My strengths were amazing. And some of the strengths, I got distracted, sorry y'all, because the cat is trying to get a string that I have hanging off this book. So let me move it. But there have been strengths in me where people had demonized them. You hear me? They had demonized my strengths. They had made it out to be like it wasn't a great thing, And if I would have been looking for people to give me affirmation, where would I have been? I would have been thinking that me asking questions like was a problem. I would have been thinking, oh, you asked a lot of questions. I possibly would have associated with me asking questions with me being dumb or not having understanding about something in a negative way. You know what I'm saying? And I say not having understanding about something in a negative way so that I can demonstrate that a lack of understanding is not always negative. It's okay to not understand something. Okay. It's okay to ask questions to gain understanding. That's how you tear systems up. You rebuild and you do something better. You understand what I'm saying? Okay. So what helped me with having affirmation within was me sitting with myself and becoming more aware of who I am. And there was a super amazing personality. Well, it's not really a personality assessment. It's kind of like along the lines of those personality tests, psych tests and all that stuff. But it's the Clifton Strength Finders assessment. And it's super amazing. I've talked about this before. Some of you all work at companies where your company will actually pay for you to get that assessment done. Because I know I didn't have to pay for mine. They'll actually pay for it. So my point in getting on today and talking to you is just to tell you that the affirmation that you're looking for, that you feel like you need others to give you, it's an affirmation that comes from within. You really need affirmation from within. And the only way you're going to get that affirmation you need is for you to sit with yourself and become more aware of who you are. I've noticed that some people don't like sitting in silence. They have to turn on the TV. It's background noise. That's what they call it, background noise. It's like, why can't you just sit with your thoughts? Why can't you just let your mind wander and daydream? Why can't you just let your mind do what it does? Because daydreaming is actually a restorative practice. It's your brain's way of resting. It's your brain's way of saying like it doesn't have anything to focus on, so it just flows through thoughts. It's actually a beautiful process. But why can't you do that? And sometimes it's so hard for us to do that because we don't want to have to listen to that voice on the inside talking to us about stuff that maybe we aren't ready for. But I'm going to hit you with this word again, courage. You have the courage to do that, because as you sit with yourself, you will gain an awareness of who you are that will give you the affirmation that you've been looking for, the affirmation that you need to do what you've got to do. And then people will come along, people like me, they'll confirm it for you. They'll say to you, hey, you're really great at that. Or, hey, have you thought about this? And you may say, I haven't thought about that. I don't think that's going to be good for me right now, because you're aware of who you are. Or you may say, you know what, I haven't thought about that, but I'm going to think about it. I'm going to, you've given me a lot to think about. I'm going to think about that today, or I'm going to think about that for the next few weeks. It'll give you a power that you need to do more than what you think you can do, to go beyond where you think you can go, to achieve more than what you have in mind. It will give you the power to be. Okay, so let me read this to you again. Some of you are looking for affirmation from others when the affirmation you need comes from within. Get to know yourself. What you discover will affirm you. Then others will confirm what you've already affirmed. And then when I reread that to myself, what I put here is, it will liberate you to be. It will liberate you to be. Grace and peace, Apostle Reggie. I hope you and your wife, Shanika, and everyone at Contagious in Charlotte and the other campuses, Tampa, is doing super well. We love you guys. It will liberate you to be. What do I mean when I say it will liberate you to be? I'm one of those people that feels like everything I need is already within me, and what I need is around me. It's either within me or it's around me. It's within me or around me. And sometimes I may be in the wrong place, but if I am, there's something that's going to pop up. I'm going to get some kind of signal, some kind of trigger that's going to tell me, move in this direction, and I'm going to get to where I need to be. I believe that I am who I need to be. And when I get into a position to be cultivated, what I am is going to come out. So that's what I mean when I say it will liberate you to be. It's like a plant. When I plant a tomato seed, I don't have to tell that seed, grow up and be a tomato. I don't have to do that. The only thing I need to do for that seed is put that seed in an environment where it is suitable for it to grow, give it water, give it light, and cultivate it. That's it. And that tomato is going to come up and be what it's supposed to be. That's what I feel like about myself. Okay. And the same applies to you. What you are, who you are, everything you are, it's in you. It's in you. It's in you already. You just have to cultivate it. Nobody has to tell you, oh, you need to be this and you need to be that. No. If you're sitting in a place of awareness with yourself, around people that are safe people, that are good people, that are positive people for you, if you're in the right place, you're going to grow and you're going to be. That's why it's not that you have to become whoever you're supposed to become. No, you already are. You just got to be. And you just got to become aware of that. You just got to become aware of that. That's why I say sit with yourself. Have courage to sit down with yourself and learn who you are. Have courage to take a personality assessment if you don't know where to start. There are so many. There are so many. Like, I'm not dropping them right now, but there are so many. Sit with yourself. Learn who you are so that you can see what's already in you, and so that you can just start walking in it and acting like it. Then you will be liberated to be. A lot of times we cannot be who we are because we haven't been liberated to be. We feel like we need to be told by somebody what we are. We feel like we need to have someone say, you're really great at this, or I see what you're doing and it's amazing. And all of that stuff is nice, but it's not nice if you need it to do what you're supposed to be doing. That's when it's not nice. That's when it's a problem. Think about me. If I would have been looking for affirmation from others, I've talked about this before. I asked a question. I had two people respond to me differently about me asking questions. One person responded to me in a very negative manner. They looked at me questioning things like I didn't understand, like I was insecure, or that I was not competent. That's what they looked at. looked at it like. And then I had another person, this is a whole nother message in itself. They saw me questioning things, and they saw me doing certain things, and they came up after it was over and they were like, why do you do this? And I'm like, because this is what's going on in my head and I need to know this information, blah, 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 blah. They ask questions. But if I would have been looking for affirmation externally from people around me, then the one person that was negative, that looked at me as if questioning things made me incompetent, okay? The person that questioned my competency because I question things, if I would have been looking to them for affirmation, then that gift on the inside of me would have been dormant or either dying. You know, I wouldn't be using it. When it's a strength that I will open my mouth and I'm bold enough to ask questions. I remember going to a conference in Chicago. This was several years ago. I knew no one there. This was during a period of time where I was getting out and exploring a lot, and I knew that it was going to happen. I'll talk about that on another story. But before that, I had not been an explorer. Like, I was very, very reserved because I was actually afraid of a lot of things, and then broke all the way out of that. And I was exploring to help break out of it more. So I was at a conference in Chicago, and sorry, I just got over a little cold. So I was like catching my breath and all of that. Apostle Reggie, what about the people who lack self-confidence? I'm going to come to that in just a moment. And if you want to drop anything else in the chat, like a short story or something that you're thinking about, then drop it there. But I remember going to a conference in Chicago, and it was a writing conference, and I was there alone. I had one of our children with us. I was there alone, and I stood up in front of all of these people. I don't even know how many people were in this room. It was a huge, massive room in this hotel, really nice hotel. This room was huge. It could have probably been like 1,000 people in there. I stood up in that room. Hey, Apostle Sonia. I stood up in that room, and I got the mic and I asked a question. I asked a question, and here's the funny thing. Like, I'd written the question down on a card, and someone didn't understand what I'd written, and which makes me think about an editor at the same conference saying that she hates when people write the way that I write, which is in a conversational way. But as we see now, conversational writing is the future. If you haven't noticed that, it's more optimized for voice searches. And I'm a big fan of search-based content and that kind of thing, filling that void. But anyways, that's a whole nother word right there. If I would have stopped because she said that she didn't like it, where would I be? You know what I'm saying? But I stood up and I asked this question. So I'm already asking the question when they're presenting it like I wrote it in a very difficult way. And I'm like, I know I communicate effectively, like, and all of us could use some work, right? We grow every day. But I'm like, let me stand up and ask this question. I didn't look at it like, wow, that just made me feel really bad. I'm not going to stand up and ask. But I stood up, grabbed the mic, asked the question, and got the answer. And after I did that, someone came up to me and they were like, hey, and they just introduced themselves. And I was like, hey, and all of that stuff. I'm super chill. And the person was like, how can you just stand up and talk like that? And I was like, what do you mean? I said, I had something that I wanted to know. Like, what do you mean? Like, it was just so natural to me. But rewind to me from 2-3 years before, I would have been afraid to do that. I would not have been liberated to be me. Did you catch that? I could stand up in front of a crowd of all of these people and ask a question because I was liberated to be me, because I had become more aware of who I am by sitting with myself and by seeking it out. And I was affirming myself from within. I didn't need people on the outside to tell me who I was. That stuff is nice, but I didn't need it. And that is the difference, okay? What about the people who lack self-confidence? What would you say to those who are not comfortable receiving affirmations? That's a good question. Some people are not comfortable receiving affirmations. They don't like being affirmed. And the first thing that comes to mind, and my timer is going off because I have to wrap up shortly. But the first thing that comes to mind is some people don't like affirmations because they don't believe it. They don't believe it. They don't believe what you're telling them. They don't believe that they're good enough. So what do? You have to respect them. They don't like affirmations. You have to respect them. So what I would probably do is start figuring out ways to get them to see the incredible stuff that is within me and how amazing, I'm sorry, not within me, the incredible stuff that is within them and how amazing they are. I would create an environment so that they could see it. And then I would ask them and question them, right? I would question them and I would get them to start calling out the great things that they're doing. If I had to give that, if it was a team member and I had to give them like a performance review or something, I would show them the facts. I would show them what they had done. Hey, here's your performance on a scale from 1 to 5. You were a 5 here, you were a 5 there, you were a 5 there, you were a 4 here. You know, what do you think about this? I would put them in a situation where they had to look at the facts. They had to look at the facts, which is that awareness part, right? Where we sit down and we become aware, and then they had to begin to affirm themselves, because I feel like when people, struggle with you affirming them and you telling them who they are, it's really it's because they don't believe it. And then here's something else that I'm feeling too, is sometimes it's guilt. Okay. So now guilt of what you've done in another area is just overtaking every other area of your life. And because you feel so guilty over one thing over here or something in your past, you feel like that you couldn't have accomplished and achieved something amazing on this end. So all in all, this is the message. The affirmation that you are looking for from others is something that you have to get with yourself. Get the affirmation from within. You have courage to sit with who you are. There are situations that I look back at in my life and I'm like, oh my gosh, why did you do that? I was thinking about it, something that I did when I was way younger, and I was first working in a corporate environment in the banking industry. And I told someone in a very high position that their idea was stupid. I did. Now, do I still think that people have stupid ideas sometimes? Yes. But do I say that? No, I don't say that. I don't say that anymore. But I've thought about that and I'm like, oh my gosh, that was so dumb. Why would you do that? I remember I got in so much trouble, and I had like a stain. A stain followed me for a bit from that, and I had to work hard to get that stain off of me. So I'm saying that to tell you there are things that I have in my past that I look back and I say, oh my gosh, that was terrible. That was terrible. But I'm not letting it hold me back. I'm not so wrapped up in what I felt back then, or even how it makes me feel now, that I cannot sit with myself and I cannot become more aware of who I am, and I cannot affirm myself from within, so that I don't need affirmations from others. If I needed affirmations from other people, I would not be doing what I'm doing now. Look at it. I have 4 people watching this broadcast. If I needed people to affirm me, do you think I would be on here pouring my heart out? Do you think I would be doing that? No, because I don't need it. I don't need it. I don't need it. Now, when I hear it, is it wonderful? Yes, it's wonderful. But when you have been affirmed from within, the people that come along, they will help to confirm you, and they will help to guide you, and they will help to move you along on your path, on your journey, and your calling, and your dreams, and into your greatness, into where you're going in life. And you will be liberated to be. Remember, I talked about that tomato seed. That tomato seed does not need me to tell it to grow up and be a tomato. That tomato has already been hardwired to be everything that it is, just like you. You've been hardwired to be. And once you become aware of that, you will begin to demonstrate your awareness. It will come out. Those affirmations will come out. Think about me. I didn't need nobody to tell me, hey, you questioning stuff is a great thing. I didn't need that. Because once I sat with myself and I learned that it was a strength and not a weakness, that it didn't make me incompetent, but it made me more competent to do my thing. Come on, somebody. It made me more competent to do my thing. Then I went with it. Okay. Then I went with it. So that's what I was hearing That's what I was hearing. And then the last thing that I wanted to talk to you about is insecurity. Okay. And I think I don't have time to talk about insecurity today because I got to go and do something, and I have like 2 minutes until it's time. 2 minutes gives me 15 more minutes because I put myself on a timer. But I'm going to come back and talk to you all about insecurity later. I'm going to drop a link below where you can watch like a 90, no, it's actually like a 60-second video of me talking about insecurity and how insecurity is stopping us from walking in consistency and fully walking in our in our calling. Sorry, the cat is back. Like she is like can't stop, won't stop down there. But I'll drop that down there so you can see it. In the meantime, does anyone have any questions? Anyone got anything to share? I'm gonna be on a live tonight with JTOL TV. You see Sonia Green down there in the chat. Go ahead and tap on her name, hit follow. But she has a media brand, JTOL TV, just thinking out loud. And I'm going to be on there tonight just talking about building community. And it's going to be very, very brief. She's bringing together some women that are just going to be talking about how they're building community and all of that. Okay, so Jasmine, people said this was good. Hey, friends, if this blessed you, if this was good to you, then do me a favor. Take it and send it to someone and tell them why you're sending it to them. Say, hey, I think this will help you be more confident. Hey, I think that there is way more inside of you than you believe. Hey, I think that you need to hear this because it made me feel inspired. It made me feel better. It made me feel more comfortable with not needing other people's not needing other people to affirm me. Okay. And that's why I said you're about to surprise yourself. Okay. Where I named this broadcast, you're about to surprise yourself, because when you begin to affirm yourself from within, when you begin to do that, it will liberate you to be, and then you will surprise yourself. You'll be like, I didn't know how I could do it. Just like me standing up in that conference. And I know it was probably like 1,000 people in that room. It was full. And the way the lady read my question was just like she could not understand it at all. And I'm like, lady, okay. Like you couldn't understand it at all? Okay. And she was like, well, whose is this? And you come up and read it. And I was like, it's mine. I'll come up and read it. And I came up to the front because I was all the way at the back because I like sitting at the back. I don't like a lot of attention. And went up to the front, grabbed that microphone, read that question, got my question answered, and that was it. All right, I gotta go. I'm out of here. Until next time, thanks for listening to The Smoking Prophet. Bye.